subscribe to our videos below. We're dropping all kinds of content throughout the week and especially on the weekends through our offside bets. So please subscribe. If you like this video, please like the video, comment below what you think. I'm going to put a challenge out to everybody here and want to see who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup after all the trades that happened today and over the last couple of days. For everybody here at Offside and Out of Bounds, I'm Adam.
I'm Junior.
Let's go. All right into it. Junior, the Maple Leafs did a three-way deal with the Sharks and Columbus. Why don't you break down this trade for us, and did it make the Leafs better?
So, coming our way to the Leafs, Nick Foligno, Stefan Noesen. Yep. Going the other way, Columbus is getting a first-round pick, fourth-round pick, both in 2022. And the great thing for the Leafs, they are retaining 50% of Foligno's salary. Yep. And then San Jose is getting a fourth-round pick in return for Noesen. I think with that salary retention from Columbus, it's a huge plus for the Leafs, who are up against that cap just strapped, right? Nick Foligno, he's the captain of the Blue Jackets. The guy is like tried, tested, and true for the playoffs. So you want grit, you want scoring, you want guys going to dig in the corners. Like, this is that guy. You want that vocal leader in the room. This is the guy that comes in after the first period when you're down 1-0, and he's fired everybody up.
Gets the cages going, right? Rattles exactly. A few cages,
He'll say whatever needs to be said to get the guy up. So I think that's a huge, huge addition for the Leafs. Noesen, I think he's a little less pedigree, but still, a decent prospect for a fourth-round pick. You can't complain too much about that.
Yeah, awesome. Does this make the Leafs better? And, do they have a chance to really go deep in the playoffs?
I think this makes them a lot better. There are a few question marks in terms of the top six and the bottom six forwards. I think he's going to add a lot of depth on the wing, and it makes them better. It's definitely going to help push them to that next level for a nice long run.
Well, we're due for a good long run, so let's see what's up next here. Okay, so Boston, Ottawa, a few people moving around here. Taylor Hall on the move. Why don't you look at this trade and break it down for us a bit?
Sure. So Boston's getting Taylor Hall and Curtis Lazar, and then Anders Bjork and a second-round pick in 2022 go back to Ottawa. The one thing about Boston is they can get these guys in these reclamation trades where they don't give up too much. Yeah. And next thing you know, Taylor Hall goes off and he's got 15 in the last little bit. Yeah. They just seem to, have that ability to pull magic, out of a hat. But, Taylor Hall's had a bit of a rough year, 2 goals, 19 assists, so he hasn't been contributing that much. But he's in Buffalo, so no one can really fault him that much.
No.
I think Curtis Lazar is a perfect fit for the system in Boston, and I think he's going to mesh really well with those guys there.
Yeah, Boston's a storied franchise, so, they're going to be able to turn him around and give both those guys, I think, a good place and a good position on the floor there.
For sure.
Okay, we got the London Knights. We got a three-way deal here again, looking at the Sharks and the Blackhawks. Some picks going the other way, and Mattias Janmark coming over to the Golden Knights. I mean, these guys are already a really good team, but does this make them a lot better?
I think Janmark, I think he's got, 9 goals, 10 assists this year, so he's been pretty productive for the ice time that he's get.
Yeah.
Funny how they're getting a fifth-round pick back. Vegas always tends to just get these trades just how they want it. San Jose pulls out a fifth-round pick, just being that third team in there to kind of shed some of the responsibilities from the other two. Chicago, I'm not really certain what they're trying to do here. They're only 4 points back of a playoff spot, and they haven't really been sending too much out, but, getting picks and back, it's always good. But you'd like to see them a little more active, try to get some other pieces moving around, considering that they're only 4 points back of a spot. So,
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, right?
Okay, so moving along here, the Panthers, Calgary, Sam Bennett landing in Florida, and Emil Heineman over to the Calgary Flames. What do you think about that trade?
I think it's good for Sam Bennett. I think, the one thing when a Sutter gets behind the reins in Calgary, there's always guys' heads that drop. I think this is going to be a nice fresh start for Sam Bennett. He's a great player. Emil Heineman, I think he might be a little bit of a diamond in a rough there, so Calgary might be getting some quality back, but only time's going to tell here. But I think it's a great pickup for Florida. He's going to get in there right away. He's going to mix really well with guys. Sam Bennett can skate. He's got great hockey IQ, so I think he's a huge plus for the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll make a nice impact with that team. And Calgary also got that second-round pick in 2022 as well. Okay, so Jeff Carter over to the Penguins, and then a couple of picks going the other way, conditional to the Kings. What do you think about this? What do you think about Jeff Carter?
He's ageless. This guy keeps scoring. He's still productive.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh just tends to fleece people. A conditional third and a conditional fourth in 22-23. I mean, come on. That team's pretty good. They did need a little bit more uh, in terms of pieces to really prime themselves, but I
Yeah.
think Jeff Carter is a huge plus for them.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a quality pickup there for the Penguins. Okay, and then we got the Avalanche. So we're looking kind of at a breakdown now. So where some of these teams are ranking up and who they got and did they do enough. So they got Carl Soderberg, 7 goals, 8 assists, and then needs still backup goalie, some depth on the defensive end, and then they gave up Dickinson and Rolston. What do you think about the Avalanche going into kind of the final stretch here?
They're in a comfortable position, but you didn't address your needs. And I know sometimes it's tough. You just want to make a move. But, I think Brian Burke said it best. If you don't need to make a move, don't make a move.
Yeah,
Because this is the time where GMs they do stupid things. Giving up the rights to Rolston and a young player in Dickinson might come back to haunt them. They are talent rich, but you didn't address any of your needs for the playoffs. And with a few early exits in the last few years, I think those are two things they really needed to do was get that defensive depth and get a decent backup goalie because, look what's happening in Toronto right now. You lose your top guy, you can end up in a really bad spot. So, I don't think that they did too well on trade day, but like I said, they're comfortable, so they should still be okay.
yeah, okay. We'll see how that all shakes out. Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, this franchise since they've gotten to Vegas has been pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
Matthias Janmark. They picked up 10 goals, 9 assists, like we mentioned. Third-round pick. Needs depth in the forward position and on the defensive end, and then they gave up a couple of picks. Does this position them well enough in the in the playoff race here, and can they go far?
They're a defensive responsible team. They're one of the lowest goals against, in the league. Lowest shots against, lowest goals against. They did need a depth forward, and I think Janmark's going to give them that depth at forward. If they could have snuck in another depth D, it probably would have been beneficial to them. But you addressed 50% of the concerns with the team, so I think you did pretty well, especially with Janmark.
Okay. We got the Wild. So what they got, nada. What they gave up, nothing. And just overall depth are some of their needs. Sitting in third right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, they're 7 points clear of St. Louis, so I don't think they were in too much of a rush to make anything happen. So I think staying pat with some teams is probably best. I mean, if they're comfortable with what they have, then why change it now?
Yeah,
Just
it's
make
been
sure you
working
get
for them.
exactly make sure you're healthy, get guys back up to speed that are coming back in the lineup, increase minutes where you need to. So they're in a good spot. I mean, 7 points up. It's at this point in the season, it's not a lot, but it's good that you have that breathing room.
Okay. So we got St. Louis, as you mentioned, in fourth. Again, similar story here. Not much happening on their front. Did they need to make a move here, or are they comfortable where they're
They
sitting?
did. They did. They needed to make a bit of a splash. They got Arizona now. The Coyotes right on their tail. They're only up by a point. I think with this team, it's getting a bit older. I think they needed to get a bit of depth in there in case a guy drops. At this point in the season, when you got a team on your heels, like separated by a point, it's
Yeah.
putting you in a bit of a tough position. So it's almost like they needed to make something, but you know they're Stanley Cup champions, so I mean you can't complain too much about it.
Okay. So moving on, you mentioned Carolina Hurricanes. Got nothing, gave up nothing, and their needs to be addressed were defensive, and then a top six forward, to help out in the scoring field. Do you see them kind of moving up?
I can see them dropping. You're tied for first with Tampa, both with 58 points right now, and Florida's 56, so they're only a couple points behind. I mean, you're still about 11 points clear of Nashville. So I mean, in terms of having your playoff in jeopardy, I don't think it's going to happen here. But Tampa made moves and Carolina didn't. So maybe you don't need a salvo shot across the bow, but you know I think getting some defense or one top six forward probably would have been, a good thing for Carolina to do. But again, it all depends on what the asking prices were.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned Tampa Bay. They got picked up Frederick Klassen. They gave up Magnus Corona. And then the need is defensive depth. Seems to be kind of a theme here on the defensive end. So it's just you got to have a good defensive team to go deep in the playoffs.
That's it right there. Defense wins championships. And I don't think Frederick Klassen is that depth that they needed.
Certainly not in the scoring end.
Yeah, he's not going to hit the sheet most nights. Maybe in the penalty box, but that's about it. Corona, I mean, you gave up the rights, so he wasn't going to play. So I mean, it's not that big of a gaff, and Frederick Klassen's not going to hit your cap too hard. So I mean, a move is a move. What it will translate into, I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah. Okay. Panthers picked up Bennett, 4 goals, 8 assists. They gave up the second pick and then Hyndman on the needs defensive defense and then center depth.
I don't think they're going to get center depth with Bennett, and they didn't get any more defensive specialists coming in. So, I mean, still Bennett's a great ad. Does it address the issues? No. But, I mean, adding a guy that's going to put the puck in the net's never a bad thing.
Yeah, no, that should move the dial a little bit for them. So we got the Nashville Predators. So they had a pickup, and then they gave up Fortunato and a 7th round pick. Forward depth and goaltending depth is the concern there. How do you think these guys look in the 4th position right now?
They look solid, but they didn't do enough. They've got Chicago 4 points behind them. And Chicago's one of those teams that they'll ring off 4 or 5 wins in a row.
Yeah.
So you could find yourself on the outside looking in. So not addressing your forward depth or goaltending depth could come back to haunt you. Pekka Rinne's got, injury issues in the past. And, when he's not on his game, it's usually because he's hurt. So, I would have liked to have seen them grab one of those backup goalies and get a forward piece. But, Gobranson's still a decent defenseman, and the Predators are loaded with D guys. So, I mean, if they're going to play him on the right side, then, you're making your defense a little more mobile. But, again, he's not going to contribute too much in terms of scoring, but he does have a good first pass out the zone. So I do like the pickup. I just don't think they addressed the needs that they had.
Yeah, and whether or not that can kind of, if they're going to be able to translate and convert on the offensive end, right? Okay, so the Leafs, very, very active. We're trying to get something done this year, and we're trying to go deep in the playoffs. I mean, we would love nothing more than to win a cup. There's a lot of movement here.
Yeah.
So what do you think? We have the needs at top 6 forward and defensive depth. Again, defense, it seems like it's really hard to pick up some of these guys.
Yeah.
2 to 3 goalie. What do you like here, and does it position them well to continue to finish in first moving into kind of the final stretch here?
They addressed every need they had. Foligno's going to be that top 6 forward. Hutton's going to be your defensive depth. Rittich, he's your 2-3 goalie, and then Nosen's just some more forward depth. You didn't give much up. That first round pick in 2021 is going to be a high pick. Sometimes you do get diamonds in the rough at that high, but to give up 2 4ths, a 3rd, and a 5th, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
And then when you're getting 50% of Foligno's salary retained, the cap hit's not there. So I definitely like that. But I mean, at this point, we don't know what's going on with Freddie Anderson. But if you're going to read the tea leaves, it looks like he's going to be out probably for the rest of the season. So that's going to put a lot more pressure on Jack Campbell. So it's always good to have another goalie in the wings where you can just plop them in there when needed, or get them on the taxi squad or whatever you got to do. But, having 2-3 goalies, 4 goalies that you can kind of lean on when needed, it's always a good thing. And I mean, they're all in, right? So it's we're getting this done this year or we're not.
Yeah, it's kind of win or bust, right?
Yeah. So, I like the moves they made. There isn't one that I don't like. So, I'm pretty satisfied with what they did this deadline.
Yeah, we didn't have to give up really anything in terms of players. Some picks, which are fine, and we've got a pretty deep and rich offense, and it's looking good. Let's see what happens. Really excited about watching them. Okay, Jordan Ben, Winnipeg, they picked up, and then they gave up a 6th-round pick, and a defense was something they wanted to address. They got that in Jordy Ben, 8 assists, 1 goal. Do you like the fit with this team?
I think it's a good fit. Jordy Ben's used to those coaches that aren't really players coaches, more drill sergeant coaches, which Winnipeg has. So I think it's a good fit for him. And they're in second right now. They're not that clear of Edmonton, but I think they're still in a good spot. So whether they end up in that second or third seed, it doesn't matter because they're going to end up playing Edmonton anyway.
Yeah.
So to get defense up against that team with the speed that they have, it's always good to have.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to Edmonton, as you mentioned here, Kuklikov, 0 goals, 2 assists defense. They're sitting third right now. They gave up a 4th-round conditional. Third-line center defensive depth are kind of the needs that needed to be addressed here. We kind of mentioned already that they're going to be facing likely Winnipeg, but what do you think about the addition here?
The one thing that you're going to find out in the playoffs, and it happens to Edmonton every year, they've got 1 or 2 lines that can cook, and then the rest don't. So getting a third-line center, I think, was the utmost priority here to at least spread some of that offense, take that pressure off of McDavid, take the pressure off all the other guys that are up there, Draisaitl. I mean, they're pushing and pulling that load in that team.
Yeah.
Again, defense it's never bad to get more defense, but if you shut down McDavid, like we've seen him get shut down for a good stretch of time, and if you shut him down, that offense gets shut down too.
A ton of pressure on the first and second line,
huge pressure. So I don't think they got better than they were yesterday. So, but you only gave up a conditional 4th, so it's not that big of an issue.
Yeah, for a defensive, to pick up a defensive guy, that probably doesn't hurt. Okay, moving on to the Canadiens. So they picked up Gustafsson, 1 goal, 9 assists defense. What they gave up TBD. So I'm not sure what's going to come from that. Needs defense top 4, defense depth, and a scoring winger.
Yeah, I don't know if Gustafsson's going to fit in with that top 4, but he is defensive depth. And they did add Eric Stahl. I don't really know if you can consider him a scoring winger, but he might give you a little bit of punch up the boards. But I mean, the TBD is probably going to end up being a second or a third conditional pick. Yeah. So I mean, it's not much to take a kind of a flyer on here. I do like Gustafsson's game. He's good, quick out of the zone, which kind of fits with that offense to defense transition that the Canadian like to run. So I think they're going to be happy over there in the Montreal.
Okay, Caps sitting at first. Raffle, 3 goals, 5 assists. They need to address goalie forward depth, so they got a forward. And TBD, probably likely another pick of some sort.
Yeah.
Can they maintain his first pole position and have a nice ride in the playoffs here?
Well, they're tied with the Islanders right now at 58 points, and they've got Pittsburgh 2 points back. So this is a pretty tight race. And I think having a goalie was something they really needed to get out there. But again, it all depends on what the asking prices were for goalies. They did clear up the forward depth, so that's always a good thing to do. And then again, probably going to be with Raffle, probably a 3rd or a 4th round pick, whether it's conditional or not, we don't know. But they really needed a backup goalie.
Yeah. Okay, Islanders. So picked up Coburn on the defensive end, and then they gave up a 7th-round pick. Defense again, something that every team really needs almost, and then scoring. So, what do you think about the addition of Coburn to the Islanders here? And
it gives them the defensive depth they needed. Just don't know, with this team, they do have a plus 27 differential on their goals and goals against. So, scoring is always good because you need it in the playoffs. I think that their offense is pretty balanced. This is just more of like a B type of need. But the defensive depth was the number one issue there, and I think they did address that with Braden Coburn. Now he's coming out of Ottawa, so it's like he's being rescued. So I'm sure he's pretty happy to take that flight down to Long Island.
Oh, yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Penguins picked up Jeff Carter, so very active. We like Jeff Carter. Needs physical forward and what they gave up. Conditional picks 2022 and 2023. Currently sitting at third, like you mentioned. This is a tight race in this division. They got something that they were looking for. How physical can Jeff Carter be? Is he going to help this offense?
Well, he's going to help the offense for sure. But you hit the nail on the head. Don't know how physical he's going to be. Can he grind out? I think he can. Just don't know how effective he's going to be at that game because it's not really, what he's about. But,
Yeah.
You got it forward. Maybe not as physical as you wanted, but you got it forward.
Yeah.
Who's been productive this year. And he gave up 2 conditional picks. So, you can't complain too much about that.
Okay, Bruins. Taylor Hall. Curtis Lazar, Mike Riley, gave up York and a couple of picks. Lefty and the backup goalie were the things they wanted to address. I mean, they look pretty good. They look like they did some nice little work here.
Yeah, these are 3 really strong moves. Riley's going to give them that lefty. They didn't get a backup goalie, so again, a lot of it's going to be on Rask. But I think their offense with the additions of Hall and Lazar are going to be, big additions. And I mean, Riley had 19 assists in Ottawa, so imagine what he can do with good forwards in Boston.
Well, and you expect probably Taylor Hall to start picking up on that goal production as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so that's that for us. We wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the cup race and who we think is going to win the cup. So you want to give us your prediction on that?
Oh, geez.
Give us 2 teams maybe that you think are gonna be in the race for the cup. Are gonna make it to that last game.
2 teams. Okay. One, give me Vegas.
I mean, just since that franchise landed there, eh?
Yeah. You know what? It was they picked up all the lunch pail guys from around the league in that expansion draft, and it just worked out beautifully. And I'm gonna hang the Ave Maria over Toronto. Give me the Leafs.
It's yeah. I mean, I never like to get my hopes up with the Leafs. It's a love-hate relationship. It's been so for quite some time.
Offense is humming. Plus 34
offense
goal
looks
differential.
Good. Things are starting to come together. You kind of say that every year, but I've kind of held my tongue, and I don't mind saying that now. And
I think they're gonna, optimistic.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do well. With a little bit of luck, maybe. I think if they can just get through the first round, I think that's always kind of a hurdle for them, right? You just get through the first round and just keep moving, right? We're not gonna have to play Boston on a 2-3 matchup like typical is, and those series tend to go like 6-7 games, whatever the case is, and it's always a squeaker at the end, some OT, stuff. So yeah, I like the league.
Winnipeg, Edmonton, Montreal. Those are the teams that they're going to face. Montreal first, and then Edmonton or Winnipeg. They've played all 3 of those teams really well this year. So, I mean, it's still cautiously optimistic. That's why I put them in the second spot. But, there isn't anything I don't like about their game. I think they won deadline day by far. They addressed every need that they had. Outside, there was that late trade that came in for Washington when they picked up Anthony Mantha, but I don't think that's going to move their needle that much. I mean, Anthony Mantha was the best player on the Red Wings, but I still think that Toronto definitely won deadline day, and I think the investment from the staff has pushed them where they needed to go. So,
yeah, I'm going to go with Toronto too, and I hate to say it, I would like to pick something that's a little bit more opposition for you, but I like Vegas too. I mean, I don't know what it is. They moved to Vegas, and the luck and everything that Sin City has to give is just working out for them. And I think they got some sort of luck happening with them, and I think they're going to go very, very far and make it to the Stanley Cup as well. So
you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, get your money on the lines here.
Stanley Cup.
Okay, Junior. Tomorrow morning, we have something coming out on the YouTube channel. You want to share that with everyone?
Yes, so tomorrow we've got episode 3 of The Forgotten Ones coming out. This is Mr. McCovey Cove, Barry Bonds. We're going to walk you through kind of the beginning of his life into that home run chase, and then a bit of the issues that happened after his career was over, and then kind of how he's started to reclaim his past glory and what he's doing for the game today.
Yeah, I mean, a hell of a player. Definitely tune in for that. That'll be dropping early tomorrow morning. So when you wake up, it'll be ready for you. Check it out on the YouTube channel or on the podcast. Feel free. I think that's it for us. For everybody here at Offside and Out of Bounds, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you want to see. If you watch this video to the end, you're probably going to want to watch a lot of our other videos. So please hit that subscribe button this way. You're going to get that notification when we go live, which is quite frequently. We'll be doing offside bets Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so look out for that. That'll be good. And then I'm not sure what we have in store next, but stay tuned and make sure to subscribe. So I'm Adam.
I'm Junior. See
See you
real
real
soon.
soon.